Okay, hi. So we're SweetBot. Thank you guys for your patience. We actually have to set up 3 computers, one for presentation. We have a server serving our files. We have me connecting directly to the Raspberry Pi, and then we have our SweetBot friend that requires some setup too. But yeah, so we're SweetBot. Essentially, we are a JavaScript. We're all full stack developers. We wanted to use a Google Voice Kit with a Raspberry Pi Zero to essentially help people with the whiteboard process, because you're coding and sometimes you're by yourself and you want to mock that coding process with an interviewer. So we made a little robot to help you with that.
So this is the time where we talk a little bit about ourselves. So my name is Alistair Blake. As a former educator and also psychotherapist, I like to do a little exercise. So I learned a little something a few days ago. Julie, actually, we were walking around the street, a group of us were walking, and she mentioned something about her past. You'll learn more about it in yoga. And someone had taught her about a movement you could do that makes you feel good, right? So I want us all to engage in this. This is a little activity before we begin. So everyone, put your hands up in the air. No one can ever be depressed like that if you do this. Have good, happy thoughts, and we're going to have some fun, okay?
Hi, I'm Adrian. I'm a full stack JavaScript developer. I come from retail previously and an art background in the fine arts and theater.
Hi, my name is Avery Brown, Sherman, Texas. I have a background in art design. I graduated 2018, but all through high school I was very art oriented, and I was an AP the whole time. And I sometimes made cakes.
I'm Julie Erlenmeyer. I'm originally from Duluth. I've played the harp for many years and taught yoga, and my background's in science.
Hey everyone, my name is David Zhang. I was born and raised in China. My background is in athletic training. During my free time, I like to skateboard and play the piano. So for our project, our problem domain is that we wanted to create something for students to practice their coding. So by using a Google Voice box, that was the purpose of our project, is basically based on voice commands, the student can receive a coding question.
So our voice box is a little hidden back here. So if you look, this is the original assembly, and so it comes as this kit with the Raspberry Pi Zero, and then a voice on it that has microphones, and then a speaker, and different lights that can light up. You can ask it to blink a light or to turn on and off a light. And then we assembled it, and this picture is just here because we had some shipping stuff, which we will get into as far as challenges go.
So this is us getting together on Sunday where we did the initial setup. After we got the box built out, we had to connect it to the Google Assistant as a first API, which essentially just functions like an Alexa, or so you can just ask it any question and it'll just spit an answer right back at you. But what we did, we connected it to the text to speech, and we used that specific API to do the magic that we're going to present today.
Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, so basically that was just a little clip to show our proof of life on Sunday, that we were able to just get everything connected through, through the computer to the box. So. And now we'll demonstrate how this whole thing works.
Okay, so I need my server. Okay, server's up. So let me run the program in Python, which is on the Pi, talking to our node server. And this has been our life for a week. And just imagine it's coming out of this guy, which was 3D printed, by the way, by that guy. Okay, so it looks like it's listening. Okay, it's listening.
Hey, Squeakbot. Hey, Squeakbot.
Hello, you can ask me, give me a challenge or repeat the question or can. I have a new problem.
Give me a question. Give me a challenge.
Write a function that will intersect two binary search trees.
Repeat the question.
Write a function that will intersect two binary search trees.
Give me a new problem.
Write a function to flatten the binary search tree into a linked list. In this sorted linked list.
Repeat after me. You are awesome.
You are awesome.
Good job.
Sweet dreams.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I don't even know how to explain how amazing that is. So we actually had to authenticate a user. So the only reason I can actually ping and get anything is because I have a token that we previously pinged our server and got. And now every time we request it, when I requested it without that token, it wouldn't let me get any whiteboard questions. And that took some serious help from an amazing, amazing, amazing people that we like totally adore. Yeah, moving on.
So our general workflow for the day, we get in at 9 o'clock and we have a mini stand-up amongst our group, talk about where we wanted to go for the day, what we were working on, and what we were stuck on as a group. We would then meet at 3 o'clock with our instructional staff to go over kind of the same things but with the instructional staff. At 6 o'clock, at the end of the day, we would go over what we did for the day and what we thought we needed to continue on for the next day, our goals for the next day. We worked in teams, two teams, one focusing on the JavaScript side and the other focusing on the Python, kind of to limit as many merge conflicts as possible. We spent a lot of time researching Python docs. Avrey spent a lot of time designing the physical model, revisiting authentication, and then asking a lot of people for help.
Yeah, so our week was just, we kept looking at this until it made sense because we had a SQL database that Adrian built with a lot of help from John. And then we had that route connecting to the server and we're like, wait, no, what's in JavaScript? And then what's gonna do the thing in Python? And so eventually when you bang your head at a whiteboard long enough, you get a project. So yeah. And the auth piece was the biggest headache because we had those two routes. The get route, that gives us all of our questions, right? JavaScript to Python. The sign-in route has to happen first. That happens when we initially load the program. And that's where we're giving credentials. Server checks the database. Yes, does that user exist? Great. Okay, give them a token. Great, now you have a token, so now you can make a request. And that was so much work, and I'm amazed that we did that.
Our Sunday preparation helped a lot. We got just the basic framework built, Google Assistant. We started on the second half. Learning Python was really hard, especially a lot of us never even seen Python really. So it's like, this is scary. It's all indents, doesn't make any sense. Had a lot of problems with the auth, but eventually we got it.
Alright guys, so some of the challenges that we faced immediately going into the project was, so we had the one-day shipping on the box. So it was scheduled to come in Friday, and I remember it was right after we discussed our spike for the weekend, we got the news that the shipping was delayed. So at the time, we were stressed, but honestly, looking back, I think it was almost kind of like a blessing in disguise because it really made us coming up with fallback options really quickly and thinking on the spot. So we came up with different components, like how to assemble the whole thing without having something like this pre-assembled. But in the end, we were able to get it to show up on Saturday. So that was one of the first issues that we faced. Additionally, just establishing the communication between the Pi files and the node server was a pretty big challenge for us earlier in the week. And later in the week, as Julie pointed out, the authentication portion really gave us a lot of trouble, and we had to have a lot of help from other people. So.
This is just a fun slide because that bot listens to a lot of things, and so you'll just see it just starts to swear at you after a while, and then it wants you to give it a call, and then give it a chance, and then it will swear some more. So it's kind of weird. But today it behaved, so that's amazing.
Future work, yeah. So when we were initially talking about this idea, we had lofty goals of like having it like play music in the background while we're doing code challenges, and also the ability to ask the bot to do hints. Though we did build up some aspects of that, we didn't actually get into. We didn't implement the actual code for that. And also, we do have, I have to say, even though we say we could do a better voice, I actually love the sound of that mousy. That too. And so it has two different voices. There's one that quivers, which I think is ideal for if we're able to get the actual component, the shell big enough to put it in. And then there's more confidence as you hear, as it says a code challenge, there's a lot more confidence in kind of addressing that. But those were, for future work, we'll definitely build this out to be a really fun project to work on.
This is our boy, and I use Blender, which this is kind of just like a fun side project, something to do at home while we're, just to unwind from doing all coding all day. He starts out as just like a ball, and I just shaped him up with little tools and stuff. This is the start of the base. Just a little printy. That's the finished product. Gave him a little sticker because I tried to carve a little hole in his belly, but it looked gross. You can come look at it if you want.
This is our last slide, but I think this is our most important slide. Personally, I want to thank my team. I feel like we communicated really well. Sometimes we were really stressed out, and we always had each other's backs. And this project could not have been done in any other team setting, for sure. And then also, we love the people we asked help for. We asked for so much help, and it's just amazing. We love you guys, and we had a great time, and we're excited to do more crazy stuff like this. Any questions? Jacob.
Yeah, so talk about learning a new language while you're basically trying to build this product. What was that process like?
Me and Julie and David did a lot of the Python. It really sucked. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no brackets or anything. Nothing's closed. But like, you can usually piece it together. It kind of like reads itself, really. And a lot of functionality is already there. We just put in different pieces to make it work.
Yeah, it felt like a treasure hunt. I actually sneakily now like Python, but don't tell James. Yeah, it was like we had a code base to work with that was already coded on the Pi. So we have a conditional that already gives us commands. So we're like, blink the light, and it blinks the light, and you can see how it's importing things from other places, and you're just scavenger hunting your way, digging around, trying not to mess it up, because coding on a Pi has 0 version control, and it has a floppy disk save button, and so it was just like, it's all a mess. But yeah, it's a scavenger hunt and a total mind meld, but it was awesome. I highly, highly recommend it.
Yeah, basically, pretty similar to what Julie said. It was challenging, but at the same time, it's really cool to just explore a little bit. Lots of trial and error, but yeah, I liked it. Any other questions? Enrique?
Is there a different, another feature that you guys didn't talk about for lack of time, maybe? Like another feature of your project? You know, like does it tell you something else?
Sorry, I don't understand that question. Okay. Oh, so the question was, what are some features that weren't implemented?
No, like does it already do something that you guys didn't have the time to test or show us?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like repeat the question? Is that-
Like the blinking light.
Oh, okay. Sorry for the confusion. Yeah, so like I said, during Sunday we used two APIs. One is called voice to assistant, a voice assistant, but the one that we use is cloud to speech. The little testing, the little clip that you saw, proof of life on Sunday, was when I asked how do you say goodbye in Mandarin. So that wasn't the API that we used. So I think, yes, yeah. So I think in the future, if we can implement that API, I think it would be much more easy to use.
Like it's essentially a Google Assistant you can buy and put together. Because we asked it when the Sounders were playing, it told us noon. Avery asked it to tell him to go to school tomorrow, and then the next day at 9 a.m. he's like, "Oh crap! It told me I'm going to go to school." And it was so there's so much functionality. We use maybe a fraction of that. Anything else? Let me see.
What's the line of code you're the proudest of in the entire code base?
Out of the entire code base, the code piece that we're the most proud of. I have mine. Do you guys want to take this thing?
So, because we struggled so much around the authentication, I think we learned how to like break that down in such a way that like I'm more sensitive to, okay, what are the elements involved in that? Yeah, it took what 2+ days just to kind of cover that alone. So with a lot of assistance, don't get me wrong. But nonetheless, yeah, I'm proud of what we accomplished.
Those headers, man.
My favorite line of code actually isn't really there anymore. It's when we were first. I'll explain. When we were first testing, when we first connected to the Pi, we sent a message, "Squeakbot is alive," and that was just really crazy. Wow.
Oh, yeah, that was a really beautiful moment.
Actually did. It's working.
My most proudest moment would definitely have to be this morning. So when we got everything assembled this morning to test it, when we say Squeakbot asking a question, it was able to return a question. But when we ask return us a new question, it gave us an error. And honestly, we were kind of in like a low-key panic mode this morning. But then, Alistair, Julie, they look at the Pi file closely, and there was a minor slash in there. But besides that, what really made the code functional was that we added that line of header, yes, the token line of the code, and I feel like that's kind of summarized. That sure, we're working with a different type of codes, but it showed us we actually had a pretty good understanding of how everything worked. So that was really nice to see that we got it to work. So.
Anything else? Okay. Thank you guys so much.
Nice job, Team Squeakbot. All right, that concludes our demonstrations for today. I'm assuming .NET, go meet Hopper and Hopper. My class, I guess, we'll just meet over here.